wanted to give a special shout out to RenWorks, small business owners out here in the Gila Valley. Check out their website, ren-works.myshopify.com. They do custom laser engraving on many different items. They've done Stanley Cups for me, coasters, hats. So they do everything. So go check them out. Welcome back to the Positive Gains Podcast. Today I have a familiar guest, Mr. Erykanders. He was on 2 years ago, fighting in the UFC, former Alabama football player, NFL player as well. Erik, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? You doing all right?
Doing good, man. Can't complain. You were on 2 years ago. What's changed for you in the 2 years since you've been gone?
Shit, what hasn't changed? Everything, everything, but nothing at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, the mission is still the same. Some things in my personal life have changed. And, the objective is the same: go out there, fight the next fight, win the next fight, get my bread, and keep it moving.
And you're going to be on one of the biggest cards to almost close out the year, UFC 309. You're fighting a former champion in Chris Weidman. I believe you're opening the main card, right?
That's right.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on the fight? It's probably one of the biggest ones that you'll have going into it, preparation, things like that.
Preparation's going great. My weight's good, my cardio feels good, I feel strong, fast, all those things. It's an exciting. I think Madison Square Garden is like one of those bucket list places, venues for fighters to fight. It's got a lot of history. Ali, Frazier. It's been around for a long time. I think it's one of the most prestigious arenas. New Yorkers, we all know how they get down, what kind of fans they are. So
yeah,
it's super exciting to fight there. I'm fighting a guy from New York, a former champion, so I'm sure, it'll be a hostile territory, but I welcome that. So, looking to go out there, put on a show, get my hand raised again, collect my bread, and keep it moving.
And have you trained differently since the start of your career? Now that you've got quite a few fights in the UFC, is there anything that you've changed?
Yeah, a lot of things. I think I used to overtrain, and then when I get to the fight, I, wasn't 100%. You know what I mean? So now I've kind of like really tailored, especially during fight camp. My practices towards like a lot of drilling instead of like just going hard. You know what I mean? So
Right.
like if I'm gonna spar the next day, the day isn't as intense, but I'm still getting my work in. The day before is like that, and then the practice in the morning, because we spar at night, again, isn't so intense. And then I can go hard, Wednesday, Thursday, taper it down a little bit on Friday, because I spar again on Saturday. And then on Sunday, just go for a run. I don't need to go to an open mat and roll for, 2-3 hours or nothing like that. So, just learning how to train, when to go hard, when to, chill out, so that I can optimize my, my maximum potential. I'm not tired. I'm not overtraining. I'm not undertraining. I'm doing everything just right, as well as my diet. I used to eat like a fat kid, and I'd be very disciplined with my diet. And then, when it comes time to cut the weight, it would suck. I would cut like 20 pounds, 25 pounds, and on fight week, and wonder why I'm miserable, and then wonder why, I only got like one round of cardio, and I'm tired after that. So, just learning my body, learning the science behind fighting, cutting weight, training, and things like that. And yeah, if you look at how I train when I first started and how I train now, I probably, do just a little bit more than half of what I used to do. I used to run like 4 miles a day. Now I run like, 8 miles a week, so just applying the science that they put into performance, I think it's the biggest change.
And it comes with age, right? I mean, we're not getting any younger, and miles on you from football and stuff like that. So, I mean, obviously that probably took not played a toll, but went into preparation as well, right?
I mean, to be honest, I feel really good. I'm 37. I do have those miles, but I can still wrestle. I can still punch. I can still take a punch. Um, yeah, to be honest, at 37, I didn't think that I would feel as I feel now. I feel way better than I thought I would feel. Um, even like 10 years again, like the science, sauna, cold tub, uh, recovery, resting, not killing myself like I used to do. If I train now how I used to train, I wouldn't make it to the fight. There's just no way.
Wow. I think going back to the upcoming fight, Madison Square Garden, like you said, you're fighting a New Yorker basically in his backyard. What are your thoughts as far as just knowing that this will probably be the biggest card so far for you? I mean, nerves. How are you feeling leading up to it? It's a pretty big one.
I mean, I've fought, Machida in Brazil, a former champion. So this isn't like the first time that, I've done this, and that's really somebody's backyard. You go to Brazil and you're not Brazilian, they're going to motherfuck you the whole time you're there, at least during the fight, during, fight week, they were very pleasant, they were awesome people. But on fight night, they switched the vibe up real quick. But then after the fight, they're cool again. So I really doubt that, like, Americans could ever be so passionate about any one fighter. They're just not. You'll see, like, an American fight somebody from another country, and some Americans will still be pulling for the other guy. It's not like that in Brazil. Because
Right.
I think Brazil is much harsher territory. I'm sure obviously the crowd will be on his side. He's from New York, but there will still be some erykanders fans and people who just want to see a good fight where they don't care who wins, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I've definitely fought in worse situations,
Yeah. Again, like 2 years ago, you had some news and you couldn't share it. You said, "Hey, you'll know it when you see it," is what you told me. And I believe you were talking about acting. Season 5 of Cobra Kai. So what was that like being on one of the biggest shows that's coming back on? But at that time, what was that like?
Man, I have a newfound respect for actors. I was in maybe a minute and a half to 2 minutes of one episode, and that was 12-hour days to film that. On
Wow.
top of, like, rehearsing the scene, for like 4 days before that. Then on the day of, they totally switched everything up. So I just always kind of thought that, like, actors were just like prima donna pussies, but I understand, like, yo, that is taxing. And I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine doing that for a whole season. I couldn't imagine doing that for 6 seasons. And, like, I think there's like 12, 15 episodes per season. So
Yeah.
you do the math, that's a lot of time to film that stuff. When you see it come on, Netflix or whatever, I think it was filmed like a year before it actually came out because of all the editing and cutting. Like, I must have shot that scene, I promise you, 100 times.
Wow.
I did like 50 times with Johnny Lawrence, and then I have to turn around and then they turn the cameras to the other side, so that they can record, my face saying the lines and making the expressions and stuff like that. And then I had to fight the stunt double another 100, another 50 times. So, man, I was exhausted by the end. And that's like fake acting, you know what I mean? I wasn't even, like, we weren't even throwing real punches, but, man, you do anything that many times over that long, it's tiring,
Exactly.
so I get it, I understand. When you see those guys, like, maybe they're just tired, maybe they've been up for, 2 or 3 days with minimal sleep, doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, just that those 2, 3 days that I was there doing that, I was like, oh my god, like you really can't talk shit about actors because they do a lot, dude. It's pretty taxing, especially if you're doing the physical stuff. The physical stuff, let alone conveying like the emotion and like trying to make yourself cry and do all that other stuff. I'm like, dude, I get it. Yeah, it would be dope, um, to throw fake punches and not for real get hit, and make, you know, I made pretty good money, doing that just that one scene. So, just imagine if it was like a whole season of that or an actual movie or whatever, So
Right.
yeah, it'd be dope, you know. It'd be cool. I would pursue it if the opportunity, came up.
How about Alabama football? I mean, I know it's been a rough couple weeks. I'm not going to say anything really because my Longhorns went down last week and everybody's been blowing me up over it. So what are your thoughts on the state of Alabama football right now?
Well, I don't know what Texas' excuse is, because they didn't do nothing but add value to their team with players through the transfer portal. We got a
Right.
new coach, so you expect this, hiccups down the road, with the new coach, new system, new everything, new coaching staff. So, give the guy a couple years, man. I think, to be honest, man, he's off to a good start. Obviously, other than Vanderbilt, um, they beat the number one team in the nation, so they show that they're capable of performing at a high level. I think consistency is just the key, because how do you beat the number one team in the nation one week and then lose to an unranked team the next,
Right.
and then when they play Tennessee, they play. I can't remember if they played anybody in between Vanderbilt and Tennessee, but um, and then lose to Tennessee, who's playing really good ball this year. To be honest, there's just not a lot of consistency there yet. But I think with time, those things, fix themselves, and the coaches, they get their point across and things like that. So, you know, shit, Saban went, 6-6 or 7-6 or something his first year. So, and then the next year I went 10-2. Then the next year went 12-2, and then went 14-0. So, you know, DeVore has shown that he knows how to win and he can get it done. So, just, I don't think it's time to panic. I think that just the Alabama fans have a standard.
Yeah.
And if it ain't championship, it's a busted season, which is crazy. But yeah, they're 15 right now. I think they'll still make the playoffs. If they win out the remaining of the season, and can make a run in the playoffs. So the season's not over by any means. They just had a few hiccups so far, but they got to play good ball, perfect ball for the rest of the season. So they'll be all right.
I'm sure they can do it. And I know the NIL obviously is a big part of it, people leaving the transfer portal. So could you imagine the NIL back when you guys were playing?
Yeah, I want back pay. I want an evaluation to see what I was worth then, and then someone need to write the check just for a season. I don't need like 4 years of, yeah. It just give me what I was worth my senior year and put it out there. They were like, if someone even buys you a cheeseburger from McDonald's, you could lose eligibility. And I was like, what? I'm hungry. If someone wants to buy me a meal, then I'm taking it. You know what I mean? So
Can't hate on it, man.
uh, now these guys out here on Dr. Pepper commercials and shit. So.
Yeah, it's mind blowing all the amount of money that's being funneled. Um, yeah, I started something new. I'm doing a fan question. I have one for you. This came from Jake. He wanted to know, what is your why? In particular, why do you fight?
I fight because I like fighting. I don't fight. Obviously, like this is how I feed my kids, my family, and things like that. But I do it because I like it. I like the life that it provides me. I like the money that it pays me. In between fights, I can travel. I can do what I want. And then just focus for a few months, get right, go fight, make my money, and then do whatever I want after that. So Sitting in office was never for me. I could never do that. I've done it, and you know, would just be mad all the time that I had to sit there all day. So now I have like freedom. Like I train in the morning, go home, take a nap, eat whatever I want, and then go hit the weights. Same thing. Go pick up my kid from school or football practice or whatever, and then train again at night, and I'm done. And I like the life that fighting has provided me. My kids like the life. So yeah, and I like to compete. I'm a physical person. I'm a competitive person. So this lifestyle, this sport, like really suits me. So I'm just glad it's available and is where it is now at this time that I'm doing it, rather than when guys were fighting for championship belts for $12,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Before I give you the last question, I just want to shout out a few of some of our local entrepreneurs and businesses here in the Gila Valley. I want to give a shout out to Ken over at One Pull Kill Shot. Check out his website, onepullkillshot.com. Ernesto over at Sinew Athletics, sinewaathletics.com. Philip and Manny over at Desert Dogs Wrestling. Shout out to them for all the youth they've been doing with them. Brandon over at High Def Detail. Candace at Candace Creations LLC, and Felicia with Creative Candles by Felicia. Shout
Yeah,
out to you guys.
where are you at? You in Phoenix?
I'm in Safford. It's 3 hours.
Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay. My training partner right here, Ray Waters, he trains in Phoenix. You said wrestling. He coaches a youth program out there too.
Oh, okay. The last thing I have for you is, you kind of answered it, but aside from fighting, what do you enjoy doing? I noticed, you've been going to your boys' football games and already covered acting. So, what else do you like doing?
I got a garden. I like to go out there and work in my garden, and I think after this fight, I'm gonna try and learn how to dance, pick up a hobby, see how
Okay.
that goes. Work on that footwork a little bit. So we'll see.
What kind of dancing?
Shit, I don't know. Like salsa, something with some spice to it. We'll see how it
Well,
goes. Dude. I ain't got no rhythm, so.
no, that's all right, man. I mean, shout out to you for trying to, pick something up new. Yeah, I won't hold you. I appreciate you being on as a follow-up guest. Best of luck to you in your fight. And I hope to see you, with your hand raised.
I appreciate it, brother.
All right. You take it easy.
Thank you. You too.